Hello, everybody. This is Ojama Garrett with another deck profile for the Edison format, and this is my also my second. I thought it was really fun to try to use ChatGPT to build decks. So I had asked it to build me a Monarch deck, which I'll show you quickly the conversation we were having. Um, the first list it gave me for Ojama Monarchs was kind of dog water, and I didn't want to really like put just terrible shit on there. So like whatever, I gave it a first try for a Monarch deck. So it was giving me 3 blue, 3 red, 3 yellow, 2 green, and 2 black. So then when I saw that ratio, I kind of got discouraged a little bit with just keeping the core idea of just like a first render. But I iterated over and over again with it to just like have a conversation with ChatGPT and then settled on this. So this is a Ojama Monarch deck by ChatGPT O1 preview version, which is their most advanced model they have, which uses like it doesn't just like fire off a response based on like whatever. It takes some time, so it's like a better version. So this isn't perfect, but this is pretty damn good, I feel, in regards of a AI generated deck. So that's pretty cool for like a new level of net decking and iteration and whatever. So let's just hop right into the deck. So we got triple fader, triple Caius, 1 Gores, 1 Gravekeeper Guard, 2 Gravekeeper Spy, 2 King of the Swamp, 3 blue, 2 red, 2 Ryza, 1 Sangan, 1 of each vanilla, 1 Brain Control, 1 Future Fusion, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Mystical Space Typhoon, 2 Ojama Country, 2 Ojamagic, 2 Polymerization, and a Soul Exchange. And personally, I would cut this to 1 and then put something else back in here. Let's go with like another trap, maybe. Nah, third country, whatever. We'll go with Soul Exchange. That seems pretty relevant. So yeah, so it's not technically just an AI deck now. Sorry, but I did just see the single copy here, and then having even 1 Ojamagic is still probably even going to be kind of tricky. But anyway, so we have Brain Control, Future Fusion, Heavy Storm, Mystical Space Typhoon, 2 copies of Ojama Country, 1 Ojamagic, 2 Polymerization, 2 Soul Exchange, 1 Call to Haunted, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Solemn Judgment, double Threatening Roar, which I thought was an interesting. I think it was in the last list too, but it's very interesting. I think it's pretty good. I'll talk about that in a second. And then 1 Torrential Tribute. So let's run down the deck theory. So the deck theory is Ojama's country, and then that gives you tribute fodder. Okay, so that's why we're playing blues maxed, red, and then 1 copy of each vanilla, so that we have a lot of Ojama presence, and then the defense and attack modulation with Ojama Country, and you'll be bouncing back and forth because essentially what's going to happen is you're going to like set the blue, it's going to get killed, or you're going to crash it to go for the combo, and then like ideally you would open blue, set blue, they'd attack, you search Country Magic right out the gate, and then you would go right into your play. Like so you go Ojama Country, special summon blue back, tribute away for Caius, pitching Ojamagic, searching black, green, yellow to your hand, because when this is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, add each one, blah, blah, blah. And, thinking about this too, um, I just thought of an interesting way to get that effect off, because let's look up Mobius real quick. On the field, yep. So you could use Mobius as like a way to trigger your Ojamagic if you really wanted to, if you're really concerned. Or you can Heavy Storm it. You can Heavy Storm it. You can MST it. Okay, so it's just interesting way to look at it, to make it a little bit more playable instead of just solely relying on Country to get that effect off. Or we could play something like Snipe Hunter, but yeah. So anyway, so then you would Country, Ojamagic, Special Summon Blue, search these 3 cards in your hand to have additional fodder for your Ojama Country, plus just access to monsters to have in your hand just for whatever reason, and then tribute into a Caius, tribute into a Ryza, or just do battle with the Ojama Blue. So that's kind of the main core idea. And little fun fact, my first local I ever got first place was with an Ojama Monarch deck in the Reborn Tengu format, using that strategy to pilot me to a 4-0 against a really good plant synchro deck in the final round, which I ended up winning because he had a really good board. He had like a Stardust, a Scrap Dragon, I remember, and then like a Brio. It was like the standard, or it was TG Hyper Librarian. It was like that back in the formula Hyper Librarian Plant Synchro combo, where you'd like synchro a bunch and then draw a bunch of cards or whatever. And he had me on the ropes, and we sat there and we went into end of game procedure, and everybody was watching. And like I was sitting there, how do I break this board? I was sitting on like one tribute combo, and I was like, how do I do this with a Caius and my tribute summon and stuff like that? And then I realized that he had less than 1,000 life points, so I summoned Caius, targeted self-banished, and burned him for game. And it was the most legendary moment ever. But anyway, that was my first, and that was also my first local first place. So anyway, now that we have that, other plays that we have in the game, we have the triple fader, which is a really nice addition. In that variant of that deck I was just telling you about, I struggled with taking a lot of damage because I didn't realize that like you could play fader with the Monarch engine too and the Ojamas and still have it be kind of relevant. So we're playing the fader and we're playing Gores, and like back in the day I would play Trag too. So honestly, maybe Tragodia would fit pretty well in here. You know, like in that early game, you can just like, well, I guess it's not as relevant. I like Tragodia a lot more in the Tengu format because you were able to XYZ with it, but whatever. Not a big deal. So we got faders, we got Caiuses, we got Gores, we got the Gravekeeper engine here. Small little package just to give you a little bit more defensive power, a little more defensive capability to synergize alongside with the Monarch engine here. Double King of the Swamp. I'm really taking a liking to this card, and I really need to explore the fusion material mentioned on the card, whatever. I know there's probably a lot of cool stuff, but I just like the access to polymerization. So, like I said, I think the Debris Dragon would fit really nicely in here too, because if we're playing King of the Swamp, we're going into polys. Debris Dragon as a potential tech card here. You'd be able to bring back an Ojama Blue, and then with Country, make it a 2K attack and 1K attack, so then you can get over like a lot of problem. Like 2,000 defense is more than most aggressive monsters' defense. But the main combo with Debris Dragon is if you poly out the Ojama Knight, or you Future Fusion out the Ojama King. Debris Dragon can come into the game, and it can special summon either of these targets too, because they're 0 attack in the graveyard. When you special them back under Country, now you have a 2K beater and a 25 beater or a 3K beater, and it turns into a pretty powerful like one card play. And in a simplified game state, that's pretty strong, especially with like I think it's like Kalut Turbo, or not Kalut Turbo, sorry, Vayu Turbo, being like the main deck in Edison right now that's dominating. One of them. Um, but yeah, I think this is a pretty particularly strong deck though. Not super strong. Well, you never know. I think you could like, if you're playing in a tournament, you could do pretty well with this if you practice with it and maybe like tweaked it a little bit. But I just think with like cards like Sangan to go into Fader, I think that's a really nice play. Like if you have a Sangan, you pretty much just have the Fader, and if they tack over the Sangan, you search into a Fader. Fader hits the board, then Kai's play, and then you get to do your other plays and stuff like that. But I really like King of the Swamp too. I'm a little bit all over the place. Sorry about that, but I really like King of the Swamp poly with like your really utilizing your extra cards here. Ojama Red. This is kind of lackluster to me because like what sort of play are you going to be doing with Ojama Red except for I guess you have that kind of that crazy play where you like blue, suicide blue, search country magic, country, special summon blue, search yellow, green, black, normal summon red, summon yellow, green, black, and then 5K damage on the board. Like that is something, right? That is something. Plus, also too, I was just thinking about this is that with the country, the synergy with country, Ojamas, and the Gravekeepers here. That's also kind of an interesting little idea. You know what I mean? Like you flip the spy, special summon spy if it survives, and then you summon an Ojama. Plus with country, then you got 2K beaters. Seems pretty cool, pretty nice. What would I like to? All right, so the Threatening Roars. This is kind of a really interesting card. Just I know there's a lot of spot removal, but I know in Edison format there's not nearly as much spot removal as in like Tengu or like all the formats going forward. So like I feel like Roar feels like it doesn't do much, but just like I don't know, keeping it like just keeping your monsters alive for one turn to then get tributed off for a Monarch feels really good to me. It just feels really good. I don't know. I just think this is a pretty cool deck. This is a really cool deck, and I'm really enjoying this. I don't know how many more Ojama decks I have to go in a row, but I think I'm going to have a lot of fun. Also, I would like to mention that we are playing the normal trifecta of traps. with the Call of the Haunted. The Call of the Haunted's gonna be really nice with like recursion, attribute, summon, plus then also like Sangan. I really like Sangan. If it gets MST'd and you got Sangan engraved, boom, add that fader right to your hand. It's gonna feel really good. It would be cool also to think about limit. What is it called? Limit reverse. I don't know if you've ever seen this card. It's like it's called a haunted with 1,000 or less attack in your grave. So then you can do it with like Debris Dragon. You can do it with a Sangan, all the Ojamas, King of the Swamp for some reason, Gravekeeper Guard. But then I was also thinking Card Trooper. It'd be interesting to play with Card Trooper. And then Card Trooper doesn't really work like the milling side, but I like the idea of being able to have multiple Call of the Haunteds that kind of work with like the Monarchs, and just making it chainable so that you're able to get a Sangan, get a Card Trooper, get a Dandy, and then like have it on in a chain. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. So I think that's it. I think that covered everything pretty good. Oh, Future Fusion, you want to call King and you want to send these to the grave. This is a foolish burial to get these out of your deck. Thins your deck 3 cards. Gets them all in the grave. Kind of makes this card deck dead, but you still have blues and you still have red too, and you still have Ojama Country and Ojama Magic. So Ojama Magic isn't completely dead in the water. Even if you can't get the effect with it, it's still pretty useful because it will just be a special summon, an extender. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's it. That's my deck. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I can keep coming up with ideas. I mean, ChatGPT will make it a lot easier, but we'll just see what kind of goofy fun I can churn out with Ojamas and ChatGPT. So I'll catch you later. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.